Ladies and gentlemen, Alibaba reports tomorrow, right in the middle of a US China trade war. What you need to know: what is Baba going to report tomorrow morning? How am I going to trade it? Our precise daily stock levels, our game plan in Forex, as well as our full stock analysis. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. So, we have a lot of interesting things to talk about despite this type of market this week, where if you notice that a lot of your strategies haven't working, I guess I'll always find somebody who will thrive in any given market environment, always. So, what really constitutes a bad environment? When you have people walking off the desk, people not showing up to work, it tends to me historically, again, I'm not, I don't have more experience than everyone here, but I have more experience than a lot of people, and I have less experience than a lot of people. And one of the things I want to talk about is basically this environment. Now, the bad news is trading is going to suck this week for me. I'm actually having a down week so far, and it's like Wednesday, which for me is extremely rare. I think there was one other time this year where by Wednesday I was actually down in the week. Granted, the week is not over. I could still do something big tomorrow. I get that, but just to give you an idea, I'm not used to not being up money for the week by Wednesday. So for me, I understand it. And I understand, the duties and everything that is responsible that goes along with it. So yesterday, we were talking about um, China and the trade war between the United States of America and China. And I thought I was going to talk about Baba today. So, big thing on the agenda is Baba is in the crossfire of earnings. Now, it's not just because it's a Chinese name during the US China trade war. In fact, it's the centerpiece, it's the mantelpiece of the Chinese trade war. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that, Alibaba founder, CEO, president, whatever, um, is actually buying real estate in the United States of America? In fact, he just came out to our hometown here in New York and bought 28,000 acres in upstate New York. So it is happening where he's diversifying his assets very intelligently. But what does that mean for earnings? What if I can sort of tell you how I plan on trading Alibaba tomorrow? Now, it's not one of those things where every single piece of the puzzle fits in place like it did with Amazon, and I made a boatload with puts in Amazon, a real boatload. Like last time when we said, Amazon reported, and we came out and we were like, yeah, you're going to put in a first 5 minute red bar and then short through there. And people were like, and it just everything panned out. We even talked about Amazon going red on the day, and Amazon was up like $80, and people were like, get out of here, Mark. And it happened. It's not sort of one of those things with conviction, but it's enough conviction where I do believe I'm going to get my week back, even though that's not my goal. I think, in the back of my head, I think that's always toxic to think, how am I going to get my money back? That's actually how traders generally lose money, as opposed to saying, how is there an intelligent trade that fits my criteria that I can do next? See, the toxic thing with traders is they'll usually do a losing trade. They'll be down money, and then they'll start doing things that break their game plan from that thing. They'll usually take a trade that fits their game plan initially. They might lose or make money. If they lose money, the chances of you doing something that doesn't befit your game plan increases exponentially. I'm going to go into Baba exactly how I'm going to trade it, but first, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors over at the T3 Law Team. T3 Live is not a broker dealer, etc., etc., etc. Please feel free to pause and read this entire thing. Okay, now that you did that, let's go right into how I think Baba is going to move on earnings. Um, So, what does Baba usually do? All right, so first let's talk about how they're going to report. Baba hasn't reported yet. They're reporting tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, let's talk about how Baba's going to report. Chinese reporting standards are very lax. They are extremely lax, meaning they aren't subject to the same forms of scrutiny and regulation, for example, that something else would be fit for. Um, what am I trying to say? What am I babbling over here? Let's get straight to the point on how they're going to report, what they're going to report, and my thoughts on how much they're actually going to beat by. And I think that usually impresses the majority of people when you're able to do that. First of all, for me, Baba is going to beat if you're doing their adjusted earnings per share by at least 8-9%. I know that is 8-9% of consensus. So whatever if the consensus is a dollar, they'll report a dollar eight, dollar nine, dollar 10. You get the picture. In terms of whatever that consensus earnings is, they're going to beat them. In terms of revenue, I would expect them to beat that revenue by 5%. Quote me on it. Quote me on this tomorrow, okay? I'm going to say at least 8% on consensus earnings per share and at least 5% on revenue. So their earnings are going to be very, very hot. What worries me, why I ended up not playing Baba into earnings and I waited for them to, and I'm obviously waiting for them to report tomorrow, is their future guidance. If they're honest about it, they're going to pretend that, well, they're going to say we're clueless. If they want to be honest about it, they're going to say they're clueless. The reason why they're going to say they're clueless is because they have no idea how the US China trade war will pan out. So, yesterday, I was telling you guys if you really want to swing some of these Chinese names, you have to watch the US dollar Chinese yuan because this is going to ultimately dictate the direction of the Babas, the Baidus, the Huyas, the IQ, the Billy, the Momos, and everything. Excuse me, this will be the ultimate decider for that. The problem is with Baba, is let's just think about this logically. You want to know who's going to get hurt by these sanctions? Anyone want to take a guess? I'll give you a guess. It's one of the largest companies on the planet. Anyone care to guess in the room? Anyone? What company is going to get destroyed by this? Destroyed, I mean, destroyed is a strong word. Punched in the face. You think Apple? Yeah, they could go against Apple iPhones. That's definitely a candidate. How about Amazon? You know how much business on Amazon is made? You know how many products on Amazon are made in China? You realize how many people I know who are making 6 and 7 figure incomes going to the factories of China, having them produce some good, sending it over to the United States, and when they send it to the United States, they literally port dock it right outside the Amazon trucks to send it to the fulfillment center so it could be sold immediately. It's so streamlined. You think Amazon is 90% Chinese products? It could be. I don't know the numbers. But Amazon, this company, could get very hurt. Now, are they going to put Amazon? Of course, this company will be around. This is one of the most powerful companies on the planet. It's not going anywhere. But to say that it wouldn't hurt their revenues is making it up. And the funny thing is, with this, is Alibaba is very responsible for these Chinese factories to get their names out there. Like, if I go to the majority of you, I could say, name one factory in China that you know of that produces goods. And you'll be like, you wouldn't know how to answer me. If you go to Alibaba.com, you would see infinite number of them, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We're not talking about companies that won't take your business, Colton. We're talking about companies that will take your business, not like a Foxconn. Um, with that being said, Baba's guidance should be shady at best. Shady. They're gonna crush. See, if for me, making the bet on Alibaba just came down to, are they gonna meet analyst expectations? Are they gonna beat them? Are they gonna beat on revenue? I would have thrown $30,000, $40,000 worth of option calls at it, and I would have just sat back and watched. See, the thing is, they want to meet a trillion GMV by fiscal year 2020. Do I think they're going to reach it? Yep, I do. I do think this is the company of the future. What happens if Baba gaps? The best case scenario for me of how to trade Baba is long if it gaps down tomorrow. I am going to counter trend Baba no matter what it does. So let me just be clear with my strategy tomorrow. I told you how I felt about the earnings. I told you how I felt about the revenues. I feel the analysts are going to continue to remain bullish in it. If the stock gaps down on earnings, the analysts will defend it. If the stock gaps up on earnings, they'll raise their price targets, and that's what the analysts are going to do tomorrow. I don't think you're going to get many downgrades in Baba. If they miss on the earnings per share and revenue, I'll just come out and be the first to tell you I was 100% wrong. For me, Baba is a counter trend strategy. Now, can I prove to you that that is at least a logical thought process? I'll prove it to you. How about when did Baba report last time? It reported on May 4th, right over here. Stock closed. Check it out. It closed. Remember, oh, I think, did we buy calls this day and we actually made money on them? I think that was the day back in May, right? It closed 182.45, opened up at 180. Hit a low of 178.62, went $1.38 lower than the open, and then shot up 12 points. Hence, when Baba gapped down, if you counter trended it, you would have made money. How about the time before that, Mark? That's just one example, Mark Melnick. It is. Last time they reported before that was the morning of February 1st. Here's January 31st. They closed at 204. Here, I'll zoom in so it's not hard to see. They closed at 204.29 and they opened up the next day at 192.75. They gapped down about 11 and a half points approximately. Opened up at 192.75. Look at the day low. 191.14. So it went $1.60 against you at the open in from the opening price and gave you a potential off that lows to jump $8 and change. You see the discrepancy? Okay, Mark, that would have worked the last two times. How about the time before that? Fair enough question. November 2nd was the last time they reported. Here's November 1st, a close of 186.08. The next day, they opened up at 190.99. They gapped up almost $3, $2.99. They gapped up $3. It opened up at 190.99 or 191 and hit a high of 191.22. So off of the open, it went 23 cents to the upside. If you decided again to counter trend Baba, meaning going against the gap and shorting it when it gapped up, you would have made, you'd have an opportunity to make good money, $7 and $8 approximately. Fair enough, Mark. You could have counter trended the last three times. How about the last four times? Okay, fair enough question. Here's Alibaba reporting August 17th. Here's August 16th. They closed at 159.50. Opened up the next day at 166. Now, this one isn't as brash. However, counter trending was the bigger move of the day. This one opened up at 166, hit a high of 168, and then pulled down to 163.51. In English, Three times it would have been amazing. And the last four times, three of the last four times they reported, three times would have been incredible, counter trending. In the time before that would have been above average, let's call it. Above average. So counter trending Baba's Gap has been a very effective strategy. That's why I decided not to play it, even though I am very confident that they're going to crush consensus expectations. How do they talk about the future? Are they going to come out and say, we're not worried about a US China trade war, which would be the biggest load of, you know, horse manure that I've, ever seen in my life? It would be like almost a mountainous pile of it. I'd be like, are they really going to say they're not concerned about a US China trade war? I hope not, but who knows what their conference call looks like? I'm not that person. Maybe they'll come out confident, like, we're going to get through this. Maybe they'll come out and say, yeah, it's our concern and we're taking measures to prevent it. The tone of voice on the conference call has been psychologically and statistically linked to earnings. You want to know who's bullish beyond belief always on their stock, no matter how crappy his company's earnings are? There's a man named Elon Musk. And I'll show you a weekly of Tesla. And yeah, here's the dude since day one back in 2010 was super bullish on his company, never faltered, bleeds money to this day, never turned a profit, and the stock is like Superman from where it came from. And he could pull it off. Does Jack Ma have that charisma like Elon Musk? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He is one of the most recognized faces on the planet. Let me ask you this. If I showed you a picture of the Baidu CEO, if I showed you a picture of IQ CEO, if I showed you a picture of Huya CEO, if I showed you a picture of Baba CEO, which one do you think you would recognize? Now, some people say I might not recognize any of them, but the majority of people would recognize Jack Ma. He has that charisma. He has the charisma. So, what am I going to do in Baba tomorrow? I'm going to counter trend it, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to counter trend Alibaba. And you know what I think I'm going to do? Come up with a dollar amount. Let's say my dollar amount is $5,000. Let's use a bet. Let's use your dollar amount is $1,000. I'm making it up. It's different for everyone, right? $1,000, I would say, throw 300. Let's say Baba gaps down, throw $300 worth of calls when it goes against you. On the next pull down, throw another few $100s worth of calls. On the next pull down, throw another few $100s worth of calls, and then you have your full risk. And that's how I think the smartest way to trade it is. However, despite this being whatever market you want to call it, I will be doing this on Alibaba tomorrow. I will be doing this on Alibaba tomorrow, and I will be doing this on Alibaba tomorrow. I've been trying to tell traders, there will always be those traders who thrive in any market environment. I've seen traders thrive in every single condition. There's never a day where you don't have 100, 200, 300 people up in our room at any given moment for the day. The swing wise, I'm doing lovely. I'm holding every share of sale. I'm holding my large Stitch Fix position. I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing today. But intraday wise, and intraday this week, I'm actually down money. And that for me is weird because I think there was one other time this year where by Thursday, going into Wednesday into Thursday, on the intraday side where I'm down money. So I'm like, huh? It sort of caught me by surprise. Like, I'm like, really? And at the same time, it doesn't surprise me because I know what kind of environment we're in. All I can say is this, and I'll repeat the words in chat. Reduce your expectations in this environment. Be willing to take smaller profits. Expect smaller moves. If you could adhere to that, I think you're in good shape. So for me, I'm going to apply the three simple, effective, easy Newsbeat strategies. Definitely look them up. They're all over the internet. They're in Facebook Live. They're on YouTube. Look them up. And let's get into our precise daily stock levels. How about this? All the levels you need to know in the Q, Spiders, IWM. Well, not all of them, but to me, very important ones. I guess there are 100 levels on each one. I'm not going to give you 100 numbers. Important support and resistance levels for your Qs, Spiders, IWM, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. Take a screenshot, print this out. I keep it by me at all times. Next on the list, my very famous game plan name is EXAS, Exact Sciences. What a sexy move today. See, there will always be that stock that goes. What a sexy move today. And I just want to show you, like, off of this gap up, what the Newsbeat strategies look like. So on the one and done today, it broke 60.20 and it's 61.48. And 1 minute using the one and done, you could have caught $1.28. I didn't trade this one today. I'm just showing you the Newsbeat strategies in action. The high five strategy, actually, this one ended up failing because it broke out here. Yeah, you could have made 12 cents and risked 17 cents and you would have gotten stopped out. Not beaten up per se, but you would have gotten stopped out on the high five. However, if you used the Fund 21 strategy, you crushed it because it broke out right here through 63 cents. You could have had a stop down there at 47. And if you adhere to the methodology, you, I mean, you could have made a few points, but, or a couple points. Maybe you made 50 cents. That would have worked out beautifully there. Look at how the 21 just held it and the stock went up. So you would have been 2 for 3 applying those strategies today on EXAS. I didn't trade it. So with that being said, how about all our Forex trades? Now, this has been actually hot for me. With my Forex trades, I'm actually up money this week, but I was referring to my intraday trading the US stock markets of where I'm down. I have 3 new orders for you guys today. Here's a short order, here's a long order. These levels are put in right before I start the show, so they're always pending if you watch this show. If you watch it live, of course. And I cancel all the orders that didn't get filled. Here's the size in US standard lots. Here's the symbol I'm looking to short and go long. 1 short, 2 longs. Here's where my order entry is. This is a pending open limit order at this price up to 5 decimal places out. This is exactly where my stop loss level is. This is exactly where my take profit level is. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think you keep it really simple and stupid. Please don't beat yourself up over this market environment. I'll say this to you every single year. I've been trading 19 years, and in my personal humble experience, this is the worst trading day for everyone. Again, my swings are doing magnificent. I'm talking about people who are scalping on the intraday. It is it is the most difficult environment for me for scalping intraday. At this point, we're going to go into our full stock analysis. We're going to go into your stock, my levels and thoughts. That is for Newsbeat Live members only. We're the largest, fastest growing trading room in the United States of America. Happy trading, make money. We'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.